Can I explain magnetic attraction and repulsion better than Richard Feynman? I can't do anything better than Richard Feynman. Anyway, in my videos, you've probably heard the term electromagnetism a lot, and that's because electricity and magnetism are essentially the same thing. They can be transformed into each other. We use magnets and electric generators, and electromagnets are basically just magnets that happen because we are sending electricity through a coil. Move electricity, get magnet. Anyway, electricity is basically just moving electrons. And electrons are always moving. And in most substances, they are kind of moving in random patterns. In magnets, like the ones that you buy that are already magnetized, not electromagnets, they're not moving in random patterns, they are moving all in the same pattern. That lines up electrons basically all in one way, and you get a magnet. If I were to go more in depth, there's a bit of quantum fuckery going on, but for now, this is a good enough explanation. So now you know how we make magnets. Cool. So why do they attract and repel? Well, this is actually quantum mechanics in action. And quantum mechanics teaches us that everything is fluctuations in fields. And a good visualization for this is actual waves in water. And I'm using that visualization only partially because it's summertime and it's hot as balls and I wish I was at the beach. So you have seen how waves interact in the ocean, or in a pool, or any body of water. If two waves come at each other head on, they will create a big collision and then bounce off each other. This is a lot like when you put two north poles or two south poles of magnets near each other. They end up repelling. They are literally waves bouncing off each other. But what happens when two waves move in the same direction? Well, then they don't bounce off of each other. In fact, their impact is added to each other. You'd know this if you ever got hit by a wave and then opened your eyes just to get hit by another stealth wave. God, I wish I was at the beach. Anyway, if they get close enough, they might just make one huge wave. This is what happens if you put a north pole and a south pole of a magnet together. Essentially, all the electromagnetic waves are moving in one direction. And when you started with two magnets with basically two north and south poles, now you have one much bigger magnet with one north and south pole and a bigger magnetic field. And why do they attract? Well, have you ever felt a strong undertow when two waves moving in the same direction get very close to each other? Each tiny interaction of these waves getting closer to each other and adding up to a bigger magnetic field creates a small force in the direction of the waves adding up. And all these forces add up and eventually become a big force. And that pulls the two magnets together to become one big magnet. And that's magnetism in a nutshell. It is basically amplification of small-scale quantum forces into big forces.